right, welcome to another edition of Beginner Breakdown. I am your host, Mike Kummer, and today we'll be talking about comebacks, all right? It's never good to resign in a game of chess, all right? If you resign, it's over, right? So there's an old phrase, never give up, never surrender. Let's stick to that, okay? All right, so here we go. I have the black pieces in this position from a long time ago, playing a little kid named David Scott. All right, here we go. So c5, he protects. This is a good way to get d4 players out of book. Just play c5, they don't know what to do. Unless they're good, then they'll play d5 and crush you. But if they don't play d5, you got them right where you want them. Because you got the C file open, life is good, all right? Well, we'll take it first. All right, so g6, knight f3, bishop g7 attacks. So he protects, but remember that box is in his bishop.
Wasn't the queen and the knight protecting d4? So
everything's protecting d4. All right, don't worry about d4. Right. So pretty standard opening. All right, so bishop pins the knight now. So anybody halfway good would just play bishop to b7. Bishop to d7, d7, break the pin. And unfortunately, black plays queen to c7 and gets himself in a lot of trouble. So white obviously, the queen was protecting the pawn, so white takes the pawn, attacking the queen again. So now queen to d6. Does anybody have any good ideas? All right, so queen is attacking the knight here, okay? Should we take the knight? No, we do not capture pin pieces. Good. So what are some ways to protect the knight, you think?
queen b3 and e4 both protect that.
E4, strong. All right.
But you just weaken d4.
But that's okay. We're not worried about d4. There's more important things. So e4 should be played in this position. Unfortunately, white plays queen to b3. But it does protect the knight, and you're still up the pawn. So you're doing okay. So bishop e6. Now we got the knight into a pin. All right. So bishop takes. Boo. But now he's got counterplay. So what do you think he does now? Queen to b7. Uh-oh. So white's queen is way down in my territory, and it's going to be a lot of trouble. He's threatening queen takes, a8 check. He's also threatening knight here, bad check. Well, for me, for black. So black is in a lot of trouble here. So he decides, hey, I'll attack. Not good. Not good. So yeah, as Claudio yells out, knight to c7 check, it breaks the connection between the queen and the rook. Obviously, I'm not going to play queen takes knight. So it might be the best move, but that's not very good.
It's better than that.
Well, I'd rather lose a rook than lose a queen for a knight.
Okay, can't you play king d7? What does king? Okay, instead of king d8, king d7, he doesn't have any discover checks because you just take his queen, and when he takes your rook, you take his knight.
So somebody from the audience is saying, somebody, unknown who, some random person, is saying black should play queen, king to d7, take. Now what do you want?
Now I want to take your knight.
And then just take the knight. Right. But I'm going to get the knight one way or the other.
What?
So do it the worst way.
Yeah. So yeah, you should always be as productive with your moves as possible here. So queen takes, check. King to d8 was played. So check. King here. Actually, he blocked with the bishop here, or I did. And now he gets another pawn. Yeah. All right, so now we have our position here. White is clearly crushing black. If you count up the material, you always want to count up the material on the board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So white has 7 pawns. Knight and bishop are each worth 3 apiece. Let's add that up to 13 plus the rooks. So how much does that add up to? Anybody paying attention? How much? I think 23, let's say. So white has 23 points. Black has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10.
Is worth 9 billion.
Yeah, well, we each have 9 billion points. That's how much a king is worth for you, everybody following at home. King is worth 9 billion, because if you lose a king, you're out of here. So a lot of people say he's got no value. You couldn't be further wrong, okay? Further from the truth. Thank you. So, okay. So, in actuality, white is up 4 points, but he's got a lot of things going for him. He's got this passed A pawn, and he's got a rook or a bishop. Pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. So, would anybody consider resigning in this position? The answer is don't even think about it. Just try to get some counterplay here, okay? So white plays knight to e5. Should we take? No. But you could give him double pawns. So that's what black played at the time. But no, in actuality, you would not want to, when you're down material, do not trade material. All right. So little did I know at the time, f6 was the worst move you could ever play in your life. So I was thinking, hey,
When was this game played?
it was played in 1997. Before Julian was born, yes. f6. So take, and now I got my knight out, so things are doing okay. So bishop to d2, where do you think he's going? c3. Pinning. All right. So if you're black, you want to get yourself out of the pin. So there you go. e4. But now he forced me back. So now white is following the pedigree to a T. If you're up material, trade material. So now I got my pawns all connected again. So I'm doing all right. So white castles. Big mistake. Big mistake. If you're in an endgame and the queens are off the board, don't be castling. Never castle. Play king e2, you get checked, and then you go king e3. And then you'll be fine. Well, king e2, if king e2 is played, obviously bishop to a6 will be played, and then obvious. It is obvious. So all right. So castling not advisable in an endgame. All right, f5. Try to break open the castle. Back when this game was played, both players are around 1,200 at the time, but two of the best players in the state, though. Yes. So a 1,200 back in 1997 was like an 1,800 today.
I'm still higher. So
all right. So pawn takes, rook takes. All right. So would anybody think about playing c5 here to get the discovered attack? It's not even worth it. So rook to d8. So now he's in this castle, and we still have a potential for the back row checkmate. All we have to do is distract this rook from the first rank, and we got ourselves a checkmate, huh?
That worked pretty good.
Checkmate in 2.
All right, but we got to just make it happen, but I don't know if it's going to happen. So check. So black would not want to trade rooks in this position. Okay. king to b6, rook takes pawn. So rook to d2. All right, so interesting. So he just attacked, black just attacked the pawn. What do you do here? You could play rook to b1, which is played, but it's a little too passive. I would have probably just played what, h3? Okay, so h3 could be good, but why not h4? Because don't you think you're going to queen this guy? All you have to do is get rid of this g pawn. So just go for it. h4 as fast as you can. Yeah, so white could just play rook here, take. But the thing is, now you give him a little bit of hope with this c pawn, past c pawn. So he plays rook to b1. Bishop a6. Yeah, rook to d3. So who thinks black should play bishop here?
Yeah.
No. You hope. You got to be tricky. So the last thing you want to do, you would love it if he would take this pawn. So something you would not want to do is play here, because when he takes, if he does that, it'll be check, and then your plan is ruined. All right, so you want to make a move that keeps the position exactly the same, okay? Bishop to c4 attacks the pawn. He attacks the bishop. Bishop a6. Perfect. All right, got him right where I want him now. So if he takes here, uh-oh, the bishop fork, okay?
Is that what happened?
No, I'm playing a 1200. So
He has rook d. He has rook d6. I would take that pawn in a heartbeat. You got nothing.
So a4. So he doesn't fall for the trap, whether it's real or not. He does not fall for the trap. Rook to a2. There's h4. Rook here. All right, so now the trap's done. So now it's time to protect it, okay? But now he's got a lot of pawns coming over here. So we attack him. So lots of checks. Lots of checks.
Is that an obvious check?
So now black is in some trouble. He's got.
Because he won more.
Yeah, even more than he was before. Yes.
At this point in time, black finally realized. And now rook e6 is hard to meet.
So rook here is threatening checkmate and my bishop. So things are looking pretty dire for black. But we don't even think about resigning here, okay? We just want to try to live on as long as we can. So does anybody see how he can?
I see legal moves. But
King to b8. That stops mate.
Okay.
So now the mate threat is back on. Rook here is still mate. So black's got to play there. All right. So what white should do here is pretty obvious, actually.
You should play rook.
He should play check anyway. Bishop gets pinned. And then, boom, the double attack. Attack the pinned piece. Rook here.
And then take the bishop.
And then, yeah, you could just consolidate the victory.
Never do that. No, yes,
Or there's no reason to. You could just play a6. As long as you're not going to get checkmated, everything will be
He plays pawn from
okay.
H2.
And now black has no good moves here. All right, but luckily my opponent did not see that great variation, and he decided to check me with b6. You want to check horizontally with the rooks. That way it forces your competitors back. Vertically, doesn't really, you just play a little dance. It doesn't really do much. All right, so he's threatening checkmate again, so I just go back, okay? No problem. g4, big mistake, g4.
Still completely winning.
So take, rook takes, and now he put his rooks like this. Not good. There's no checkmate anymore. They're blocking each other. Yeah. So bishop f3, now I got a little mate going.
Then he played rook g3.
If he plays rook to g3, I'm in business. And then the easy checkmate.
Yeah, rook
But you got to go all the way. No stopping short here, all right?
Would you resign if you dropped it on G?
No.
Don't ever been listening.
Right. Never.
No, no.
So rook to f6. He plays a move almost as bad as rook to g3. Rook to f6. Threatening the bishop and checkmate again. But unfortunately, I do have this happening now. And now you see the skewer.
Oh, snap.
And now black is right back in the game. So, he's down. So, if you're keeping score at home, who do you think's going to win this game? Black or white or draw? So a lot of people are thinking white's going to win. But not me. I'm playing black. I'm like, oh, I got this. I got him right where I want him. Comeback kid here. All right. So let's see how you can pull this out. All right. Attack the pawn. He protects. Check. Just keep an active rook, and good things can happen.
Oh, and now white can get a draw with rook c1. the key mistake in this game.
All right. So rook just took the pawn, and now he threatens checkmate. All right. So there's only one way to stop it.
He's
There.
completely winning.
Rook to b7 check.
All he has to do is play king e6, king d7, rook c8, and he resign.
So there's a lot of good ways for him to win here.
He's not going to choose.
But there's unfortunately a really bad move white can make in this position. What is the worst move white could possibly, besides rook to b8 check? A7.
Oh, it happened?
It happened.
And it's still a draw. It's still a draw.
So take.
King e6, and how do you win?
So this should be a draw still. But white is kind of flustered now. He just lost his rook. He's lost 2 of his pawns. He's about to lose another pawn. So far so good. He just needs to get a draw.
King e6, king e7.
So king e6. All right, here we go. All right, so king to e7 looks pretty good. But he kind of wants to attack my rook over here. So once you get your...
and now he plays king from g6 to g7, rook into king.
Right. So now once they get the king on the queening square, he's got no hope. And it's over.
He had a bad day.
Yep.
He resigned.
Yeah.
I don't know. The play before this.
So
Who was higher rated at the time of this
So-
game? Who was higher rated?
So that's the game. Yep. So the ratings of the players at the time were about 1,220. All right. So in this game, I'm playing somebody a little bit better than a 1,200.
I don't believe it.
It's rated about 1,900. Okay.
So he's harsh.
Yes. And I have the white pieces here. Okay. So e4, e5. Knight f3 attacks the pawn, knight to c6, all pretty standard. Bishop c4, I in the big f7 square here. Bishop to c5, castles, always castle as soon as you can. d6, d3, pretty symmetrical. Bishop to g4, pins my knight. Pretty annoying. h3, attack it, go away. And unfortunately, I think I see a tactic here that I really do not. I think I see bishop takes check, king takes,
And it doesn't even work.
knight
He has
there
king
check,
e6.
where he could actually just, oh yeah, he could do a lot of things here. He could play king to g6,
Every single
he
move.
could take, but unfortunately this was just hope. And hope does not work in chess. So unfortunately, he's got even better. He can just take with the bishop, take back with the bishop. So it's move 6, 7, 8, whatever, and I'm already down a piece for a pawn.
This is like theory too.
So what should you do here? You should go out on an attack, okay? You're losing. You just want to keep it going, all right? So now he can't castle. So we need a pawn storm here. So naturally move our king away to start the pawn storm. All right, so black has manually castled here. So he's feeling pretty good. So if he can withstand my pawn storm, he'll be able to win the game. The knight threatening check, it is protected by the queen, so got to move our king again here to stop it. Pawn takes, rook to d8. This is rook on an open file, so all his pieces are pretty active. Mine are not, all right?
I assume in chess you should move all of your queenside pawns, not to leave your queenside, and make sure your king is really weak, right?
Well, things are looking all right. Queen to e2. So that's a move because it's threatening check. All right. So black has a couple different ways he can stop this. He could simply play king h8. He could play bishop to b6. Or he could overload his queen. Queen to f7. So the queen is now stopping the check and protecting the knight. All right. It's probably easier just to play king h8 and just be done with the checks. All right, knight to c3, knight to d4, queen to g2. All right, so now it looks like I'm back in the game. He played knight to f4, and he's like, oh man, I just lost the pawn, so obviously I can't wait to take. Can't take. So if your opponent does something kind of silly, like gives you a pawn, you should probably really look and see, like, why did he do that? But I'm like, oh yeah, I'm back in it. And so now everybody at home, can you see a good move for black that corresponds with rook takes f4?
Well, isn't your king on h2 and your rook on f4?
Yeah, see how all these guys are on dark squares here? And he's got a dark square bishop. Boom. All right, so the rook is in a pin.
Did this actually happen?
So this is the way the game is playing. So rook to f1. Man.
1800 down or up.
So should black take this rook?
Sure, why not?
And there's no reason to. It's in a pin. It's gonna stay there. So just keep this your control happening. Okay. So now it forces white to move his king out of the pin. So now take. All right. Rook over. All right, knight to d5. So now we got some threats happening here.
What's your threat?
Oh yeah. So if you were playing at home as black, even though you're 1900, you'd be like, oh, he just put his knight there, no threat.
1972.
So he thinks I'm attacking this pawn,
I don't see it.
but I'm also threatening check. All right, so I forked the king and the queen.
Okay, but I wanted to play queen d1 check and then queen takes c2, and that stops everything.
Oh, so interesting. So a very easy way to stop all this shenanigans is queen to d1 check. Very good. So I could play rook. What about rook to f1?
Then queen takes c2. And then if you play rook f2, I have queen takes e4.
Now knight to f6 check
And I take your knight, free knight.
with my pawn
Okay.
or with the rook.
With the anything.
All right, the pawn. Check.
And then I take your queen. GG.
Bummer. Then I cry and it's all over.
You still
Wait,
win.
did you resign?
No, I would not resign in that position. But my hope would be fleeting. But I would try to make the best of it. All right. So that would be a good way to stop the shenanigans.
Ratings have gone down recently. Like 1900s used to suck. Like these are the worst.
So knight to f6 check. So rook takes f6 by okay. But luckily he decides I'm going to take it with the pawn free knight. So check, game over. All right. So when you're up material, you got to be thinking, hey, my opponent's going to be doing some mad counterplay here, all right? So just watch out for the checks and try to check them yourself maybe, like our good friend Julian suggested. Let's get it going, all right? So are we ready for one more game?
Yeah.
All right. So this last game will be how to play when you have a crushing advantage, okay? So I showed you how not to play, but this will be how to play when you're just crushing. I will be manually putting these moves in. All right. Welcome, Lisa Lee. Hello. All right. So white was our hero today against a much lower rated player. All right. So start at e4, e5, knight f3, d6. This is called the Philidor. Not recommended. All right. This bishop's got nothing to do. Knight f6, knight to g5. Everybody's hitting the f7 square here. Knight takes e4, knight takes. And so this is so now he's threatening checkmate, all right? So we don't want to take the rook. And we don't even want to castle. We'll just play queen f3. Queen takes, pawn takes. Knight to g5. All right, big decision. Do I want a free knight or do I want a free rook? I'll take the knight because I don't want my knight to get trapped by g6, bishop g7. Makes sense? Then he'll play g6 here. All right. So free knight. h6, I'll go back. Rook h7. Now bishop to d3, excellent. Bishop to d3, g6. Rook to g7. Now can you see a really cool move?
Did Morphy play this?
Yeah. So knight to where check? All right, but you could say double check. So if you can double check, always double check. Because then the king has to move.
I see another cool one. Bishop f5.
Now bishop f5 check, very good. So I was like, okay. Bishop takes b7. Rook to e8. All right, so remember, when you're up material, just trade material. It's not very difficult. And now I just need to get my pieces off the back row, and everything will be good. d3, a discovered attack. Bishop takes pawn. Do you think he sees it?
Nope.
Very good. You guys have been paying attention. Bishop takes 8.
The lesson is nobody ever pays attention.
Rook to g2.
So this is what focus is.
Bishop e3. Bishop takes. Pawn takes. Rook takes c2.
Do you see the threat? Oh.
Knight to a3.
Castles.
This isn't how you should play when you're winning. You have like so much counter.
No, it's okay. It's all good counterplay. He thinks he's getting stuff. All right. So okay. So you want to stop counterplay? All right. You can force a trade of rooks right now.
I don't see a way to force a trade of rook.
Rook to b1. Boom.
Rook b6.
Rook to g8. All right. So now white. So now he doesn't want a repeat of all that junk. All right. So he plays king to f2, stopping the rook.
Mike would win this as black.
King to b6. Knight to a3, probably. King to c6. Knight to c4. King to d5. And now, his king really can't really do nothing, right? His rook has no checks.
So you make a queen.
All right, yeah, so it's real easy. h4. And what can he do?
Resign.
No.
And then it's just like, he doesn't really want to lose this pawn. So he just gives it up.
He
Yeah.
doesn't want to lose,
Yeah.
so he gives it.
So you just limit the counterplay, and it'll just be an easy victory.
I like your idea.
Yeah, because it was a comeback kid. This guy wasn't a comeback kid. Not at all. Not at all. So that's what you do.